everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead. We're out here this morning trying to gather up some of our pears. For the last 4 or 5 days, every morning we come out, there's just pears all over the ground. So we're finally getting a break, a chance to come out here and work with the pears a little bit. We're trying to get some of the very biggest ones off of the tree. Guys, it's awful early this year for all the pears to just be falling off on the ground. And the ones that fall to the ground, when we cut into them, they're already starting to rot in the middle, which tells us they're overripe. So we have 2 5-gallon buckets here already picked this morning off of the tree. We're trying to just get the largest ones. We're not getting the smaller ones because they seem to be the ones that's falling off the worst. And Wanda's already canned like 13 quarts. We've got 2 5-gallon bucketfuls in the floor in the house. We've got 2 5-gallon buckets here, and guys, there must be 1,000 pears left on this tree. I mean, and this is just one tree. We've completely cleaned up the moonglow that was next to us. We harvested all the pears off of it. Wanda's already canned those. That's the 13 that's canned. We've got another pear tree on the other side that's loaded. So this year looks like a bumper year for pears. And if we don't get some of them off of here, every time the wind blows, we've got a limb over here that's already broken, fell down from the weight of the pears. So we're afraid we're going to lose some of our big limbs out of the tree. It's just one of those things that we're about 3 weeks early this year with pears. And I don't know if it's the extreme heat we're having. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the grand solar minimum that we're facing, but usually we're harvesting these in mid-August, and here we are. It's at the end of July, and we actually still have another week to go in July. And guys, we're already having to harvest these. Been harvesting them for a week. Our muscadines are already getting ready, our scuppernons. It's crazy this year. Everything is really early. So I can't complain. I'm going to say it's a blessing that we're able to get these pears this year, because last year we didn't have anything hardly. I mean, we had a few, but nothing like what we have this year. This year we've gotten lots and lots and lots of figs. Last year we didn't get any figs. So this is why we can so much every year, is because there are those years you don't get much of a yield. And when you don't, if you've got plenty canned from the year before, you can still make it through another year, hoping for a harvest in the future. Guys, I know a lot of you are going to ask, what kind of pear is this? To be honest, I don't know. I just know the moonglow that's next to me over here. I remember planting it. This one was planted probably 20-some years ago. And guys, I have no clue what it was then. This was a food plot. It was a pear that was just stuck in a food plot way back then for deer. And look at it now. We put the chicken pen right beside it, and it gets nutrition from the chicken pen, and this thing has flourished, you know. So for those of you who are asking what varieties of pears, I only know about one, and that's the moonglow next to me. And I guess the other one on the other side is a sand pear, because it's as hard as a rock. Makes a really good pear for canning, but it's as hard as a rock. This one could possibly be a Bartlett, because I do remember planting a Bartlett pear at one point way back yonder. I just don't remember if it's this tree or not. So it is possible that this is a Bartlett. But for those of you who are going to ask what variety, then that will be all I know about it. So guys, we got to get busy. We've got some tropical weather moving in here. We want to try to get these off before the wind or the rain gets back in here on us. We thought we'd show you a little bit of a clip of us harvesting our pears and show you how thick they're hanging on the trees. I mean, just look at this. They're everywhere. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 in this clump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that clump. And you know, they're everywhere. And yesterday, Wanda picked 2 5-gallon bucketfuls off of just right here where I'm standing. These few limbs. She didn't go around the tree everywhere. That was just right here. Besides what's already fell on the ground, we've got 2 more buckets here. And guys, you can't even tell we've picked anything off of this tree. This tree still has probably 1,000 on it. So we got to get busy. The wind's starting to blow, the water's starting to... Okay guys, this is the other pear tree. These pears are, we call them sand pears. They are hard as a rock. I mean, when you peel them, you can use an apple peeler and they work perfect with an apple peeler, but them things are so hard you can't hardly cut them with a knife. But when it comes to making canned pears, when you cook them down, they cook down really good. They don't turn to mush. They're good and firm. You know, I think some of y'all may know a particular variety or something, but this tree was planted like 25 years ago. I don't even know. Back then it was just food plots in here. And we planted these trees for the deer and stuff. Now we're just harvesting them to eat. But I have no idea about the variety. I'm just guessing. We just call it a sand pear because it's hard. Now this tree is not quite as large as the other one, and it's not as loaded as the other one is. But yet there's still an abundance of pears on this tree here. And these, I imagine these in the next couple of weeks will probably be ready. Now what we look for is when we see them start falling to the ground. When that happens, we know it's time to get them off. And a lot of times the best way to tell on a pear is right around the top where the stem is at. Take your thumb and mash. If it's soft, you need to take it off the tree, because if you don't, pears need to sit for a day or so inside the house to finish ripening. And then once they finish ripening, you can cut them up. But if you wait till they fall to the ground, usually the inside of them is done begin to get too soft and they start rotting from the inside out. That's why you have to pick a pear just a little bit early in order to be able to save it and make a good canning pear out of it. Now I'm touching these on the top right here. And these are still pretty hard at the tops. Now this one here is getting a little bit soft, which tells me probably in another week, well, if we start seeing a couple of these hit the ground, we'll know, guys, it's time to get these off also. That's why on Deep South, you've probably noticed we haven't been putting up a video early in the morning like we usually do. Guys, we're having to pick pears, can pears, pick figs, can figs, lime the pond, seed the ponds, put hay on the ponds. We've got fencing that's got to go back up. There's just too much for us to do to get a video out every day. And hopefully in the future we'll be able to catch up and show y'all what we've got going on and some of the projects that we've had to do. And I hope you understand that on a homestead, it's not all glamour and glitter out here. This is actually very hard work, especially in our heat down here in 104, 105, 110 degree heat indexes every day. Now we've got tropical systems coming in. It's raining all the time. It's just nasty. It's wet. Like today, it's just a nasty wet day. It's hot, it's humid, and this don't stop. We have to keep going. And guys, right now, it's not even 7 o'clock. Let me show you something. I don't know if you can see my watch. It's not even 7 o'clock yet, and we've already picked our pears. We've already done most of our chores this morning, and we've still got a long way to go today. So guys, hang with us here at Deep South Homestead. Be patient with us. We'll get the videos back coming. It's just that we had to have a break to catch up on some of the stuff that we've got going on, and maybe it'll be educational for you guys. We're hoping to show you that what it's like to run a real homestead, one that functions. So thank you guys from Deep South Homestead.
Alright guys, here are the pears that we picked yesterday. I canned more than this and I had 13. Look at the size of these pears. Isn't that pretty awesome? Now we have some, that's some of the biggest. Some of them are about this size. So in proportion, look at that, from this size to this size. But these you can about do in halves. These you have to do in quarters. And if you want to make things like pear relish, I make pear sauce, which is also like applesauce. I cook them down with a touch of sugar or honey, and then I jar up the sauce, and you can use it in the same respect that you do applesauce. You just have a lot of pear sauce. You use a light syrup, which is 1 cup of sugar to 4 cups of water, and you mix the syrup up, get it hot according to how many pears you're going to have, and you can add to the recipe. So pears, very versatile. I use them in the place of apples. Lots of times you can open them up and most people would not know. You can make a mock apple pie out of them, like a peach cobbler. You can put these in the place of the peaches and just add some cinnamon and brown sugar, and oh my, nobody knows it's not an apple. So I'm going to get busy, because not only do I have that, look at this. This is what we just brought in. And as you saw, the tree is covered, and I got to get busy. Thank you guys from Deep South Homestead.